Okay, point taken. But Manishi, what do you make of the future of the banking sector in India? Because of course there has been this entire regulatory overhang which has been there. But overall there's
Right.
this expectation that credit growth is going to slow down a bit. The interest rates are going to turn as well. What's your view on how the banking sector is placed right now?
If you look at the, if let's say, forget about India over the next 2, 3 quarters, but look at the next 5 years, 10 years, or maybe a couple of decades, then if one has to play broader economic growth, then one has to play the banking sector. Because think about it, the economy is ultimately private consumption, government spending, investments, and net exports. Right. So out of these, at least two significant segments are driven by the banks, they're supported by the banks. Therefore, the growth in the banking sector is almost inextricably linked to the growth in the broader economy. And if we believe that a real GDP growth of, let's say, 7%, a nominal GDP growth of 10 to 11% is the order of the day for the next decade or so, then there's no escaping from the narrative that the banks would be a significant participant in that growth. Now, having said that, there are some banks which would significantly gain market share, and these are the private sector banks. Um, Even after, they've been around for almost 30 years, still, I think about 65 to 70% of the market share is still with the public sector banks. And that would obviously get whittled down as we go along. The private sector banks also have the advantage of far better asset quality on the average. So I would seriously, focus on the private sector banks. Yes, I know that there have been concerns about a decline in CASA, current account and savings account, because money has moved to the equity markets and not to away from the banking deposits. But I think those are, really short-term hurdles or short-term headwinds. And if we are able to look beyond them to the long term, there's no escaping from a long-term bullishness on the banking sector.
Right, Manishi, so great to have you on the show. Thanks as always for taking the time out and speaking with us.
Thank